Hello children, how are you all? Hope you all are doing well. This is VKM. Welcome to Electron Chemistry Center. In the previous lecture, we had discussed about group 15 elements, introduction part, electronic configuration, oxidation states, anomalous properties of nitrogen is done. Hope you liked that video. And we will continue the session where we had stopped. Okay. Please watch the video till the end and you will get a better idea about the topic as well as the content which is there in the lecture, right? If you are not a subscriber of my channel, please subscribe to my channel. For more notifications and video, please click on the bell icon after subscribing. And if you have any doubts, you can post it in the comment box also. And if you like the video, please click on the like button. Okay, so we will continue the session of group 15 elements or nitrogen family. Okay, in this today's lecture, we are going to talk about a few topics we are going to talk about. Number one is chemical properties of 15th group elements. Number two, it is about nitrogen. Number three, it is about ammonia. These are the three topics we are going to discuss in today's lecture. Okay, generally in P block, how the concept flow goes when it comes to each and every group. A concept flow goes in such a way that first one we will talk about introduction, followed by electronic configuration, general characteristics, oxidation states, anomalous properties of first element of every group, and then followed by chemical properties, followed by compounds of first element of the group. In this group, we will be talking about compounds of nitrogen like ammonia, nitric acid. Similarly, in the next group, compounds of oxygen. Next group, compounds of fluorine or chlorine, right? So such a way we will discuss it in a flow, and as well as uses of those compounds also we will discuss. Clear? So chemical properties when we talk about it, and first one is reactivity towards hydrogen. Now I am considering that M is group 15 element, and if this M reacts with hydrogen, it forms MH3 type of hydride. It forms MH3 type of hydride. So as you know that M is nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and bismuth. These are the hydrides we have. Okay, so that is NH3 ammonia, PH3 phosphine, ASH3. I am writing here NH3 ammonia, PH3 phosphine, ASH3 arsine, SbH3 stibine, BiH3 bismuthine. These are the 5 hydrides we have of group 15 elements, which are formed by direct combination of group 15 element and hydrogen, which gives the hydrides, are having the general formula of MH3 type. Okay, so let's talk about the stability of the hydride. Stability of the hydride, if you observe that stability of hydride depends on MH bond. Here M is group 15 elements. When we talk about NH bond, similarly PH and ASH and SBH and BIH. Here in all of these hydrides, hydrogen is common, which is a small size atom, but when we go down the group, size of the atom increases, as you know. Size of atom increases. When size of atom increases, a smaller size atom can hold the smaller size hydrogen perfectly. But when it comes to bismuth, Bismuth is larger size atom, it cannot hold hydrogen perfectly. It cannot hold hydrogen perfectly. In such cases, what will happen? So that bond becomes weaker. This bond becomes weaker, we can break this bond easily. Yes or no? We can break this bond easily. So it is having low bond dissociation enthalpy. BDE means low bond dissociation enthalpy. In such cases, what will happen? So this bismuth hydride stability is less. Why? Because we can break it easily. No? So bismuth hydride stability is less. So down the group stability of the hydrates decreases. Down the group stability of hydrates decreases. That is due to decrease in dissociation enthalpy. NH bond have high bond dissociation enthalpy, whereas BiH bond have low bond dissociation enthalpy. Low bond dissociation enthalpy. Clear? Similarly, we have to talk about so many properties here. So first property what we have discussed here, first is stability we have discussed. Stability we have discussed. And second one we are talking about is reducing character. Second one we are talking about is reducing character. Generally, metallic hydrides are good reducing agents. You remember this. Metallic hydrides are good reducing agents. So among group 15 elements, which is the metal we know? Nitrogen, phosphorus are non-metals. Arsenic, antimony are metalloids. Bismuth is metal. Means bismuth is metallic hydride, so it can act as a strong reducing agent. So down the group, what is happening to the reducing character? Increases. Reducing character increases. Non-metallic hydrides are weak reducing agents, while metallic hydrides are strong reducing agents. Right? So in such cases, order of the reducing character, if you observe it, bismuth hydride is a strong reducing agent. It is a strong reducing agent, whereas NH3 is the weak reducing agent. Ra means weak reducing agent. So reducing power or reducing character down the group increases. So second one what we have discussed, reducing power. In stability itself we have discussed about bond dissociation enthalpy also. Hope you understand. Next one we will be talking about basic nature. What is that? Basic nature. Basic nature of hydrides when we talk about is because of the lone pair of electrons. Lone pair of electrons when they have, right? So in such cases they can behave as Lewis bases. And that basic nature, if you observe it, ammonia can act as a strong base. Then PH3, then ASH3, then SBH3, and stibine and bismuthine almost are having equal basic character. So basic nature of the hydrides down the group decreases. So that is the fourth property we can see. Understood? Is it clear? Right? So that is fourth property. We have discussed fourth property of it. So now few more properties also there. They have not mentioned, but we have to discuss. First one is stability we have done, bond dissociation enthalpy we have done, reducing power we have done. Fourth is a basic nature we have done. And the most important is boiling point. Most important is a boiling point. These orders are very important, children, especially for NEET exams and JEE mains exams. These orders are very important from inorganic chemistry. When we talk about boiling point, what we know the concept, boiling point is nothing but here as molar mass increases, boiling point also increases. As molar mass increases, boiling point also increases. This concept you know it already. So in such cases, we have BiH3 supposed to have high boiling point, no more doubt in it. So ammonia supposed to have low boiling point because it is having low molar mass. What we used to give it generally, NH3 less than. Such a way we can give it same like reducing character. Yes or no? But this is not correct. Okay, this is not correct. The order is BiH3 is having high boiling point, no more doubt, greater than SbH3, next boiling point which is having higher. Next we have ammonia. Next we have ammonia, next ASH3, next PH3. This is the order of the boiling point can be given. Bismuthine which is having highest boiling point, then SbH3, then NH3, then ASH3, then PH3. So though ammonia is having low molar mass, why it is having high boiling point? Can anyone guess it? Can anyone guess it? You can post it in the live chat. The reason you can post it. So it's very simple. Ammonia is having high boiling point, though it is having low molar mass due to hydrogen bonding. Because of hydrogen bonding association, what will happen? Boiling point increases. It's a very important one. Please remember it carefully. Very important for competitive. Understood? So it's all about reactivity towards hydrogen. Next, talk about reactivity towards oxygen. Right? So when group 15 elements react with oxygen, they can form two types of oxides. One is trioxide and another one is pentoxide. Trioxides carries a general formula of M2O3. Pentoxides carries a general formula of M2O5. Like N2O3, N2O5, P2O3, P2O5, AS2O3, AS2O5 and so on. So general formula of trioxides is M2O3 and pentoxides is M2O5. Understood? So now if you observe that the oxides in the higher oxidation state of the element are more acidic than that of lower oxidation state. What I mean to say, here in trioxides metal oxidation state, here I am writing, or the element oxidation state is +3, whereas in pentoxides that element oxidation state is +5. So +3 has been increased to +5. If oxidation state increases, acidic nature also increases. Means pentoxides are more acidic. These are more acidic than trioxides. These are less acidic. These are less acidic compared to pentoxides. And if you observe that when you take pentoxides, if they dissolve in water, they can produce as acids. So pentoxides, when they dissolve in water, excuse me, they can give ic acids. If trioxides dissolve in water, they can produce us acids. They can produce us acids. Okay. So if I take an example here, if I take N2O3, dissolve in H2O, gives HNO2. I am not balancing, just for understanding I am giving it. N2O5 plus H2O giving rise to HNO3, ic acid. Similarly, I can take P2O3, dissolve in water, it gives you phosphorus acid, H3PO3. P4O10 or P2O5, dimer form of P2O5 is P4O10, dissolve in water, it gives H3PO4. It gives H3PO4, where H3PO4 is phosphoric acid, which is stronger acid than phosphorus acid. Nitric acid is stronger than nitrous acid. Here oxidation state of nitrogen is +5, here oxidation state is +3. Here oxidation state of phosphorus is +5, here it is +3. So that is the reason, so plus 5. As oxidation state increases, acidic strength also increases. But down the group, acidic character decreases. Down the group, acidic character decreases. Understood? They gave another point that just now I have told you about. Yeah. So it is very important. As I told you now, nitrogen, phosphorus are non-metals, while arsenic, antimony are metalloids, whereas bismuth is metal. Non-metals gives non-metallic oxides, metalloids, metalloid oxides, and these are metallic oxides. Metallic oxides are always basic in nature because when they dissolve in water they can form metallic hydroxides. Those are basic in nature. Non-metals, when they dissolve in water they can produce acids, hence extremely sorry yeah, non-metals when they dissolve in water they can produce acids, that's why those are acidic in nature. But metalloids, those are amphoteric in nature. Those are amphoteric in nature, right? As I told you, all pentoxides are acidic except bismuth. Other elements form pentoxide but represented by the formula M4O10, that is a dimeric form of the M2O5, right? Bismuth cannot form the pentoxides due to stability reasons. Just now I told you, trioxides when they dissolve in water they give us acids, pentoxides gives ic acids. You know which are stronger? Ic acids are stronger than the us acids. Hope it is clear, right? Reactivity towards metals, as these elements mostly are non-metals. Non-metals when they react with the metals. These elements when they react with metal to form binary compounds, means two elements. Compounds which are consisting of two elements are called as binary compounds, in which group 5A element exhibit -3 oxidation state. -3 oxidation state. As you know, metals are most electropositive, non-metals are most electronegative. Hence, these elements cannot exhibit the positive oxidation states in the combined form when they combine with metals. Understood? But suppose if I take magnesium, it gives magnesium nitride Mg3N2. Sorry. If calcium combines with phosphorus in tetraatomic form, it gives calcium phosphide Ca3P2. Understood? It gives Ca3P2. So Mg plus N2 gives you Mg3N2, that is magnesium nitride. Ca plus P4 gives you Ca3P2, calcium phosphide. So all of these in which fifth group elements are having -3 oxidation state. Understood the point? They will have -3 oxidation state. Now next, reactivity towards halogen. Reactivity towards halogen, if you observe, they can form, whenever these elements react with halogen, they can form two types of halides, MX3 type, MX5 type. MX3 means trihalides, MX5 means pentahalides. Nitrogen does not form pentahalides because of the non-availability of vacant d orbitals. As we had discussed this point in anomalous properties of nitrogen, as you know, right? So anomalous properties of nitrogen also is because of this non-availability of d orbitals. Non-availability of d orbitals. Because of the lack of d orbitals, nitrogen cannot form pentahalides. It's a very important question also. Nitrogen cannot form pentahalides. It is due to non-availability of vacant d orbitals. Understood? Similarly, if you observe, pentahalides are more covalent than trihalides. Why? Here that group 15 element oxidation state is +3. Here group 3 element oxidation state is +5 in pentahalides. Magnitude of the positive charge has been increased. When magnitude of the positive charge has been increased, in the sense size of the cation decreases. When size of the cation decreases, in the sense, so covalent character increases. According to which rules, children? Covalent character increases according to which rules? According to Fajan's rules. As per Fajan's rules, we are discussed in first year chemical bonding chapter. As per Fajan's rules, magnitude of positive charge increases, then covalent character also increases. That's the reason pentahalides are more covalent than the trihalides. Understood? All trihalides of these elements are stable except nitrogen trihalides. Except nitrogen trihalides are less stable, but in case of nitrogen halides only NF3 is more stable. What does it mean? If I talk about NCl3, NBr3, Ni3, so the size of the atom is larger. Size of which atom? Halogen atom is larger. But while nitrogen atom is smaller, a smaller atom cannot hold the larger atom perfectly. So because of this reason, nitrogen halides are less stable, but NF3 is stable. Okay, NF3 sizes are almost similar, right? Why? Because nitrogen is smaller size atom, fluorine is also smaller size atom, hence NF3 is somehow stable. Understood? Is it clear for you? Right? So trihalides except BiF3 are predominantly covalent in nature. Generally, all these halides are covalent, but which are more covalent? Pentahalides are more covalent than the trihalides. But except BiF3, all trihalides are covalent. Why? You can guess it. Bismuth is metal. F is non-metal. Bismuth is purely non-metal. Generally, the bond formed between metal and non-metal is maximum ionic in nature. But so that's the reason. So remaining all halides are predominantly covalent, but BiF3 is ionic in nature, more ionic, less covalent. Understood? So these points you have to remember it carefully. From inorganic chemistry, these questions generally used to frame based on this reasoning part only. Okay? So let's see a few MCQs here. Nitrogen reacts with metals to give, obviously, nitrides. Okay? The most basic group 15 hydride is, which is strong basic in nature. Ammonia is basic in nature. As I have told you, children, MH3 type in the sense hydrides. Yes or no? These are hydrides, right? NH3, PH3, phosphine. Phosphine can be prepared by treating white phosphorus with NaOH plus H2O in the inert atmosphere of carbon dioxide. It gives phosphine plus NaH2PO2. Phosphine plus NaH2PO2. It's a preparation method of the phosphine. Phosphine can be prepared by treating white phosphorus with NaOH plus H2. Clear? So this reaction we haven't done. Chemical properties of nitrogen we haven't started. Okay, but N2 plus O2 giving rise to 2NO. Under a very high temperature, of course, it gives nitric oxide. Clear? So far we have done chemical properties of group 15 elements. Now, as a flow, in every group we used to discuss about one element. Like in this group, nitrogen, for competitive phosphorus also can be discussed. And next group, oxygen, next group, fluorine and chlorine. Like that, every element. Okay, so one or two elements used to be discussed under every group. So now we will be talking about nitrogen. We will be talking about nitrogen and preparation methods of nitrogen, as well as chemical properties of the nitrogen. We will be talking about it. So how do you prepare nitrogen? In the laboratory method, if you observe it, nitrogen can be prepared by treating an aqueous solution of ammonium chloride and sodium nitrite. So NH4Cl, whenever it is treating with NaNO2, NaCl can be removed. NH4NO2, if it is heated, it gives nitrogen and 2H2O plus NaCl. Understood? Observe it carefully. Ammonium chloride. treating with any NO2, what will happen? First remove NaCl, we are heating, remove NaCl and you will get NH4NO2, ammonium nitrate. Upon further heating, it gives N2 plus 2H2. This is ammonium nitrite. It is ammonium nitrite which gives nitrogen, as well as a water molecule is removed. Okay, right. See, obviously, whenever you are, using this reaction, small amount of NO and HNO3 also formed in this reaction mixture that can be removed by passing gas through aqueous H2SO4 and K2Cr2O7. Means we have to pass that nitrogen gas through this mixture, then HNO3 can be oxidized into N2. Okay, these NO and HNO3 can be oxidized. That method is laboratory method. Commercially, how do you prepare? Commercial method is fractional distillation of liquid air. Fractional distillation of liquid air. So first of all, air need to be condensed or liquefied to convert into liquid air, and that liquid air should be subjected to fractional distillation. So it gives you nitrogen. You know the principle of fractional distillation. The principle is difference in the boiling points. The liquid which is having low boiling point gets distilled first than the other liquid. Here, so we know air is a mixture of so many gases, but majorly it is composed of nitrogen and oxygen, and that air is liquefied to liquid air. Liquid air should be subjected to fractional distillation. Nitrogen is having low boiling point. It's around 77.2 Kelvin approximately. O2 is having high boiling point compared to nitrogen. Okay, it's around 90 Kelvin. So which one can evaporate and distills first? Nitrogen can distills first because it is having low boiling point. So by that, nitrogen can be distilled. So later on we can condense it in the form of liquid if you want it. That gas, okay, if you want it, that can be evaporated, condensed in the form of liquid, and by leaving oxygen in the mixture. Such a way we can prepare the nitrogen. Understood? That is commercial method. First one is laboratory method. Another important method we have, that is by thermal decomposition of ammonium dichromate. Dichromate means Cr2O7 2 minus, right? So NH4 twice Cr2O7. This is ammonium dichromate, which is upon heating it gives nitrogen plus Cr2O3 plus H2. Understood? See, if you observe it in the previous first reaction, observe it carefully. A shortcut here, very important shortcut. It is useful for JEE Mains as well as NEET exams. When I take ammonium nitrite and ammonium nitrate, ammonium chromate, NH4 twice Cr2O7. If it is heated, they have asked a JEE Mains question, I think so in 2019. Yeah. Which of the following gives the nitrogen? So whenever they give these three compounds, when it is heated, first remove the maximum number of water molecules. I repeat, remove maximum number of water molecules. Remove maximum number of water molecules. Rest of what is remaining, write it there. You will understand which one will give nitrogen. Clear? So maximum number of water molecules means H2 is the formula. I have one oxygen, but here 2. So balance it. 2 2s are 4. So 4, fine. Maximum number of water molecules are removed. Remaining what is there? Nitrogen. So I can prepare nitrogen gas by decomposition of ammonium nitrite. By decomposition of ammonium nitrite. And next one, ammonium nitrate. I have removed maximum number of water molecules. How many oxygens? Sorry, how many hydrogens? 2. But here 4. 2. But still one more oxygen is there. So N, one more oxygen is there, N2. Means I cannot prepare nitrogen by decomposition of ammonium nitrate. Ammonium nitrate on decomposition gives N2O plus 2H2. Understood? Similarly, ammonium dichromate. Ammonium dichromate. Upon heating, remove maximum number of water molecules. 2 4s are 8. 8 hydrogens are there. Balanced. 4 oxygens. But how many oxygens are there? 7. Still how many are pending? 3. So I can write Cr2O3 plus what else is pending? N2. That is what you have written. No? Ammonium dichromate upon heating, remove maximum number of water molecules. N2 gas will be released plus Cr2O3. So nitrogen can be prepared by thermal decomposition of ammonium nitrite. Thermal decomposition of ammonium nitrite and thermal decomposition of ammonium dichromate, but not by ammonium nitrate. So this option can be excluded, right? That depends on the question. It's a very important shortcut. Hope you have enjoyed this, right? And now, so let's follow the another preparation method. Let me erase this. Erase the ink. Okay, fine. So from suspension of bleaching powder and ammonia, suspension of bleaching powder and ammonia. So bleaching powder, calcium oxychloride, whenever it is reacting with ammonia, it gives nitrogen gas plus calcium chloride plus water. Whenever bleaching powder reacts with ammonia, it gives nitrogen plus calcium chloride plus water, right? And the most important is thermal decomposition of metal azides. If you want to prepare pure nitrogen, I'll highlight that point, very pure nitrogen can be prepared by the help of thermal decomposition of metal azides, right? That may be sodium or barium azide. Sodium or barium azide. Sometimes they will ask you ultra pure or very pure nitrogen can be prepared by thermal decomposition of the barium azide children or sodium azide. Azides, okay, they gave azide ion is N3 minus. Structure also you can observe it. N3 minus is called azide, right? NaN3 sodium azide. NaN3 sodium azide. So BaN3 twice, that is barium azide. That is barium azide. So NaN3 upon heating what it will give? Na plus N2. Na plus N2. Similarly barium azide it gives barium plus N2. You have to just balance it. So pure dinitrogen can be prepared by thermal decomposition of metal azides. So they will ask you which of the following will give nitrogen, or which of the following cannot give nitrogen. Cannot give nitrogen in the sense NH4NO2 give, NH4 twice Cr2O7 give, and barium azide they can give, but NH4NO3 it cannot give. So that will be your answer. Remaining all these three they can give, no, but it will not give it. Such a way they will frame the question. Understood? Okay. So highly pure form of dinitrogen is obtained by this method. Highly pure form of dinitrogen is obtained by this method. One is sodium azide and another one is barium azide, right? Sodium azide and barium azide can give, sodium azide and barium azide can give, pure nitrogen. Next you can check it. These points are common, right? Let's make a look on it. Properties of dinitrogen. Nitrogen is colorless, odorless, tasteless and non-ionic gas. It has two stable isotopes, N14 and N15. That's a printing mistake. N14 and N15. It has very low solubility in water and low freezing and boiling points, and dinitrogen is inert. Sometimes they will give you dinitrogen. Nitrogen is inert gas. That doesn't mean it is noble gas. Inert gas means it is very less reactive. As you know, nitrogen and another nitrogen is associated with a triple bond, that is 1 sigma and 2 pi. This triple bond is stronger. It requires I bond dissociation enthalpy to break. It's around 941 kilojoule per mole of energy is required to break this triple bond. Right? To break this triple bond, it requires very high energy. Hence, nitrogen will not show much interest to participate in the chemical reactions. Hence, nitrogen is considered to be chemically inert gas. It is clear, right? Let's solve some MCQs. Commercial method of preparation of nitrogen involves fractional distillation of liquid air. An azide ion is, what is the formula of azide ion? Just now we have discussed, N3 minus. In the lab method, NH4Cl is treated with which one? NaNO2. Sodium nitrite to produce which gas? NO2 gas. So here I can use NaNO2, right? N2 can be produced by thermal decomposition of metal azides. Okay. So those are preparation methods followed by properties. Physical properties we have discussed. Now we will be talking about chemical properties. We will be talking about chemical properties. This reaction we have discussed, even all group elements, all group 15 elements, they can react with metals, they can produce nitrates. They can produce nitrates. Understood? So whenever nitrogen reacts with lithium, it gives lithium nitride. With magnesium, it gives magnesium nitride. Aluminum gives aluminum nitride. Lithium nitride Li3N, Mg3N2, magnesium nitride, aluminum nitride Al. Action of dioxygen, generally, with dioxygen, if you observe it, it requires very high temperature. As I told you, nitrogen individual element is directly reacting with O2. It requires very high temperature to break the triple bond. It forms NO, nitric oxide. Okay, sometimes they will give you electric arc also. Electric arc which can produce around 2000 Kelvin temperature. N2 and O2 directly combine with each other to form nitric oxide. Understood? Now another important reaction which is not there in the board, don't worry, but it's there for the competitive purpose, which is very important, children. Action of calcium carbide. Calcium carbide formula CaC2. Sometimes okay, they will ask you a question in CET exams, the number of sigma and pi bonds in calcium carbide. So it is sigma, sigma, sigma and 2 pi. So total 3 sigma and 2 pi. This calcium carbide reacts with dinitrogen at 1000 degrees Celsius. It gives CaCN2. What it will give? CaCN2. It can be given as Ca2 plus and Cn2 2 minus. This is called calcium cyanamide plus carbon. Children, this calcium cyanamide is used in production of ammonia. And that process is called as cyanamide process. Right? So we will be discussed in ammonia about the cyanamide process. Ammonia can be manufactured by Haber's as well as cyanamide process. Cyanamide means okay, CaCN2. Understood? And what we got here, CaCN2 plus C, the mixture of CaCN2 plus C means carbon in the form of graphite is called as nitrolim. What is this called as? Nitrolim, which can be used as fertilizer. As you know, children, most of the fertilizers are made up of 3 elements, NPK. Generally nitrogen, phosphorus, majority of the fertilizers consisting of these 2 elements, especially nitrogen and phosphorus. That's why ammonia or nitrogen compounds are used as fertilizers. Next, action of dihydrogen, as you know it. Okay, Haber's process, N2 plus 3H2. Whenever nitrogen reacts with hydrogen, it forms ammonia. ammonia, right? This process is called as a Haber's process. In detailed discussion about Haber's process is there, don't worry. And dinitrogen is mainly used in the manufacture of ammonia and other industrial chemical containing nitrogen, right? So that is like calcium cyanamide. Of course, calcium cyanamide once again is used for manufacture of ammonia. It is used to maintain inert atmosphere. Generally in industries, iron and steel industries, if you want to maintain inert atmosphere, we can use CO2 also as to maintain inert atmosphere, as well as nitrogen also can be used. Why? Because it cannot react easily with the other elements. Liquid dinitrogen is used as a refrigerant and to pressure biologically material food items. Generally, if you observe that chips, Lays, okay, a brand of okay Lays or Bingo, whatever you eat, okay. Moreover, less chips, more air. Generally, if you see that gap will be more, that is nitrogen can be filled in that chips packet to store it for the longer time. Okay, so to preserve biologically, it's not pressure, it's by mistake, I think so. To preserve biologically material food items, okay, for longer time, nitrogen gas can be filled and it can be used in cryosurgery because of its low boiling and low freezing points. It can be used as a cryogenic liquid also. Okay. Let's see the MCQs. CaC2 calcium carbide, this one, plus N2, it gives you calcium cyanamide plus C. N2 plus metal, whenever nitrogen reacts with metal, it will give metal nitride. What it will give? Metal nitride. So option A. Dinitrogen and dihydrogen will give you ammonia, that's called Haber's process. N2 plus O2, electric arc at 2000 Kelvin temperature, it gives NO, nitric oxide. Okay. It's anomalous properties we have done. Okay. So in this session, today's session, it was, I think so, it went well. It was so we are discussing so many important concepts. First is chemical properties of group 15 elements. About hydrides we are discussed, oxides we are discussed, hydrides, oxides, halides also we are discussed, and as well as binary compounds of the metal like nitrides, phosphides we are discussed. Second one, nitrogen, preparation methods of nitrogen, physical properties, chemical properties, as well as uses also we are discussed. Understood? Uses also we had discussed. Clear? Right. So these are the major concepts what we have done. Okay, from nitrogen. Still ammonia, nitric acid is pending. Ammonia will be discussed in the next class. I am doing in detail discussion. Please go thoroughly and please watch every video at the end. Make a note on it. These are very important points. So which are not there in the NCERT. Topics will be there, but sometimes how they will frame the questions based on the topics, that I will discuss it in the regular classes. Hope you like the video, right? So please click on the like button if you like it. If you have any doubts, please post it in the like chat or in the comment box. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and share it to your friends also about our channel. It will be very useful to them also. If you have already subscribed, please click on the bell icon for further notifications and videos. Until then, signing off. Take care. Bye bye.